We'll start with the champion hurdle. Is it all plain sailing? Is it a one-way street, or is there something in your homeland that can maybe upset Constitution Hill?
So look at this. It's kind of the match race we want, Matt. It's Constitution Hill against Ireland's best now in Stateman. On all known form, Constitution Hill is the one. Like he's the way he's disposed of Epitant on the two outings at Newcastle and Kempton was very, very easily done, and I expect him to do it quite easily again. Stateman is a good horse. Like obviously Willie Mullins will have him there in tip-top shape, but I look at it, I haven't seen too many horses like Constitution Hill and the hype and all that, but he looks top class.
Let's talk about the mare's hurdle. This could be a champion hurdle its own right. We've got two former winners in there. At the beginning of the season, Gordon Elliott nominated Queen's Brook for this. She's in there pitching, but this has the potential to be one of the races of the week.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people are calling for this race to be scrapped a little bit. They prefer to see the mares taking on the geldings in the champion hurdle or that. But I think this is a hell of a race, man. It really is. It's Honeysuckle is coming back here to try and win it again after winning two champion hurdles. You have good mares like Love Envy, Brandy Love, Echoes and Rain, Queen's Brook. Really, really good, strong mares. I believe that they still have a way to go to get to Honeysuckle. I think that, her form hasn't completely dropped off. Like, the Hatton's Grace form, she's still running very, very well, albeit not winning. And then the last day against Stateman, she could have finished third or fourth, but she didn't. She finished second. She had a lot of nice horses in behind her. And I think she's still running to a kind of a 155 mark, which in this grade, I think is still well good enough.
As a racing fan, do you imagine the scenes if she was to be successful?
Oh, yeah, sure. Look at it. That's what you want. You want these good horses coming in, getting the recognition they deserve. I think if she wins, the house will it'll well and truly come down. She's a hell of a mare, and yeah, I'm looking for it. I hope she wins number one. She's the Queen of Ireland. So, that's, you just want to see her there and turn up and do the job again.
Let's talk about the National Hunt Chase. It's a race you've won 3 times before. I'm not sure what you're going to ride at the minute this year, but whatever it is, can you lower the Gaillard du Mesnil colours? He's been the talking horse for 12 months now in this race.
Yeah, look at his form is rock solid for a race like this. Gaillard du Mesnil, second in Irish National, obviously Grade 1 form this year again, and if he repeats any of those runs, he's going to be very, very hard to beat. Touchstone, Warrior, Mahler, Mission have been running well back in Grade 2 company. You'd expect him to run well. Chemical Energy, and Gordon also has Manila Crooner in it. There'll be 2 good rides, but on all known form, we're riding for second, I think.
Brown Advisory, Jerry Colombos, have been given a quite a high profile. Missed the Dublin Racing Festival, come over here to win a Grade 1 at Sandown. 3 Mile of Brown Advisory is his target.
Yeah, Jerry Colomb is obviously he's going to go for this race. We think that the 3 mile trip is going to suit him. He's obviously, I thought he was very impressive in Sandown. Balco Coastal came to win his race. Went by Jerry Colomb, even took his ground down to the second last, and Jerry Colomb still had the class to come around him and to win well at the end. This is a really, really good horse. I think the thing that we really like about him, Matt, is that he just does what he has to do to win. He was the same. He won a point down here in our local track here in Linkstown, and the same thing. He beat a horse that I think is only ended up being rated maybe 115. So, he only beat him in neck, I think, on the day. So, he's just that type of a horse. He's very easy, laid back customer, and I know Sir Gerhard is in here up in trip. He still has to get to trip, whereas we know Jerry Colomb will get to trip.
The Champion Chase 6-7 weeks ago. This looked a match. And Ergoman and Edwardstone, all of a sudden, Editor de G and Gentleman de Me both throwing their hat into the ring, and that's got a bit more of a wide open look to it.
Yeah, look at obviously with Energumene, Edwardstone, and Editor de G all running at the Clarence House in Cheltenham. It was a good race. I don't know. I felt that Willie's made a couple of Energumene made a few mistakes going around. Whether you'd say that's going to be the white toe boards jumping them for the first time, I don't know. But I thought it was a hell of a performance from Edwardstone. I thought that Paul Town and Tom Cannon were kind of looking at each other, and the winner actually slipped them a little bit. But I thought that what Edwardstone did from the back of the second last to the line was very good. It was actually phenomenal. He actually got to the winner, headed him, and just couldn't last it out because he had a little bit too much ground to make up. Look, that happens in racing. We've seen it before. Two of the favourites, and they kind of let a horse go, and so it happened here. I don't think it'll happen again in the Champion Chase. I'm going to go with Energumene still. I think he'll improve enough. He's only beaten 6 lengths, and I still think he's the one.
The cross country, obviously Delta Work won it last year, but obviously it's been doing the rounds. The grin on your face when talking about Galvin on the Sky Sports preview last week. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, so Galvin has been a kind of a late addition to this race, Matt. He's schooled very well at home, and he's done plenty of schooling. He's been to the cross country courses at home numerous times. He was a little bit flat in the autumn. He ran in Down Royal and ran at Christmas, and just a few little things that horse he just wasn't happy in himself. Gordon has kind of sent him back to a pre-training yard to do a little bit of dressage there after Christmas, and it really has helped. He's put on a bit of weight. He looks fantastic, and we brought him over to Cheltenham to school at the last month. He's a top class horse stepping back into this grade. Like, obviously Delta Work is a really good horse, but I think he can be a little bit ground dependent. If the ground ended up drying out, I think Galvin comes into the picture, and he's got to have a hell of a chance.
I just want to touch a bit more on Delta Work as well, because obviously a lot of people put him down as a banker even after he got beat the other day. That was in a handicap, wasn't it, on trials day? Off weights, people thought this is his race again.
Yeah, no, it is his race again. I'd say if you didn't have Galvin in the mix now, you would say he's a certainty. But Galvin just puts a little bit of spice into it. He's a proper Grade 1 horse, Galvin. He won a Grade 1 last Christmas, and just if the ground stayed nice, he definitely has a chance. He'll definitely stay. He won a 3 mile 6 National Hunt Chase a couple of years ago, so he will stay. And I think that if he does run well, it could be a stepping stone for the National.
The Bumper, another race that you've won twice. Better days ahead potentially going for you this year. Is it a race that the British bother even turning up?
Oh no, they absolutely can. Queen's Gamble of Oliver Sherwood's is a good filly. I know she got beat the last day, but she's quite a good filly. Paul Nicholls' horse that won, Captain Teague. He's quite a good horse. So no, look, this is not I think the Irish angle here is that we don't really know what is the best bumper horse. For me, JP McManus is after buying a Dream to Share, which is, if Willie Mullins or Gordon Elliott had this horse, I'd say he will be money on. So he looks to be the best bumper horse that we're sending over on form. But obviously we're hoping that Better Days Ahead or No Time to Wait. We also have another horse called Pour Le Fil. We've 3 nice horses for it. So I think we're going to work them all this week and see where we're at. So no decision has been made really what's going to run yet until we work a few this week. But obviously Willie is going to be, I'd say he could run 7 or 8 in it. He could be very, very strong. The horse that looks good for Willie, the mare, fun. She was very impressive in Leopardstown. But I really like a horse called Enchanto Bruno of John McConnell's. He won before Christmas in Cheltenham at the November meeting. He's actually unbeaten, and he's coming in here fresh. Just could be one at a price to keep on side.
The Turners next, Mighty Potter. Impressive at the Dublin Racing Festival. I just felt that vibe I was getting in the parade ring or the paddock afterwards. That this could be a little bit special, this one.
Yeah, look at he's the horse in Gardens that we're all hoping becomes that Gold Cup horse. You know, he has the class to drop back to a 2 mile. You know, he was a 2 mile hurdler last year. But now that he's at that 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, I think that's a very good trip for him. At the minute, his jumping is so good. He seems to be able to travel at his ease in his races, and he looks a monster. He really does. What he did from the back of the second last to the line in Leopardstown the last day was good. He can make the odd blunder, but he seems to be very good at not losing ground doing it, which is key, I suppose. But look, we think he's one of our best chances going to Cheltenham this year, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this horse turn up on the day and do his job.
The Ryanair, is it Shishkin Salus, Conflated Fury Road? How are they going to split these up? Could they both go here?
Yeah, like obviously Shishkin put in a great performance the last day. You know, he looked back to his best. But I suppose he has to go and back it up now. He was very good against Energumene and Ascot last year, but didn't back it up in Cheltenham. And you know, he just has to come back from that now. So if the Energum or if the Shishkin turns up that beat Energumene last year and it won lately, then he wins, because it is a kind of an in-between race this year when you've no Allaho in it. I like Fury Road, I like Blue Lord, you know, but I just think maybe Envoy Allen at a bit of a price. You know, on his best form, he's a 2-time Cheltenham Festival winner. He won well in Downroyal. He beat Kemboy at Downroyal before Christmas. Disappointed at Kempton in the King George, but he's just a horse that on his day could put in a very good performance, and at a little bit of a price if Shishkin doesn't turn up, something has to be second or win. So, you know, at a bit of value, he might be the one.
The Stayers, Florian Porter on a 3-time. A few mixed vibes about him from Gavin Cromwell. Similar with Blazing Cal. Obviously, we're waiting to hear about his participation. But also home by the Leighton Tiapu. It's a strong Irish challenge for the Stayers again. Yeah,
it does. It looks good. You know, Tiapu has been very impressive this year. Won well in the Hatton's Grace, and then stepped up again up the 3 mile in the hurdle at Gorn. He looks like he'll stay. Our concern is, will he handle the better ground? Although they're saying there will be a drop of rain in Cheltenham, they've stopped watering. So, you know, if there is a little bit of a dig in the ground over there, Tiapu, I think he's probably the best horse in the race. If the ground is a little bit soft, but look at it, I think you won't know Blazing Cal until he's gone down to the start. Maybe it's hard to know with this horse. But on his day, he's a very talented horse, and he has to have a chance if he does line up. But I really like Gavin Cromwell's horse again. I just think Florian Porter, I thought he ran well at Christmas without winning. He's a quirky horse, but I just think if Danny can get the fractions right again, which he usually does, this horse could win again. He's extremely talented. He's only an 8-year-old, and I think he's still the one to beat in the Stayers. Another race that you've won twice is the Kinmure. Gordon's got Dunboyne in there. Could he be a pick, or may you pick up a ride elsewhere? Yeah, no, Gordon has a few in this. I'd imagine Dunboyne is probably the most likely. You know, so he ran very well at Gorn. In the Tayeste is a little bit ground dependent. He likes it soft. So that's the only little worry. If it did come up with a little bit of digging at Matt, this horse will run very, very well. Stumptown of Gavin's. I think Gavin could have a nice week again. Ran him in Sandown the last day in a kind of a run-of-the-mill handicap chase to get him qualified for this, and he couldn't have been any more impressive. So he comes into kind of calculations as well. And another one that I really liked was a horse of Henry de Bromhead's called Royal Thief. He won the amateur national in Punchestown on his latest start, jumped well and kind of won with a lot in hand. And I think he's going to be ridden by Jack Hendrick, and he's a horse that if he gets into a rhythm around there, he could run really well.
Let's talk about the big one. It is the Gold Cup, of course. All the talk about Galloping Deschamps. Again, another good Irish challenge. Applutard is back for more as well, and an English contingent headed by Brave Man's Game and Protectorate. This is another cracking Gold Cup. Yeah,
it's a great. It's actually the race of the week, and it should be. It's the Gold Cup. It's the blue ribbon. It's the one. It's the one that everybody wants to win, and I think we have a cracking renewal again. I think there's so many chances there. Look at Galloping Deschamps. Looks like he could be a potential superstar, Matt. He really does. But he got a nice run in Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival. It's coming back quick on him. I'm a little bit worried about his jumping early doors if he can get into a good rhythm. But he's obviously a horse with a huge engine, and he is the one that looks most likely. Applutard, look at if we knew what kind of form he was in, have we ever seen a Gold Cup winner as good as him? I haven't in all my days. Like, to win a Gold Cup the way he did, beating a previous Gold Cup winner by the length of the straight, it was an unbelievable performance. So I don't know. And then you put in Conflated coming in fresh. Brave Man's Game coming in off King George, fresh and well. Protectorate. It's really it's so much depth. Noble Yates going to wear cheek pieces again. It just brings so much into it. Statler will be there at the end, staying going. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. What will win? I'm going to go for something like Conflated, just because I think he's coming. If he's going to win a Gold Cup, it could be this year. He's coming in fresh and well. He's a very good horse, so I'm going to go for him.
Fingers crossed. And the Fox Hunters. David Christie's got 3 in there. Barry O'Neill can't ride them all if they all go. You have ridden Vorselay. Could you maybe pick up one of those leading fancies?
No, at the minute I ride a horse of Harry Durham's called Bob and Co. So I'm looking forward to him. He beat Billaway in Punchestown a few years ago in the Champion Hunter Chase back in Punchestown. David Maxwell is usually rides him, but unfortunately for David, he got hurt, and they've kindly asked me to ride him, and I was delighted to get the call. He's a horse with a big engine. Harry has obviously trained him this year. He comes in very fresh. Harry is really excited to see the horse running, and I'm looking forward to teaming up with him and seeing. I'd be hopeful that we could run into a place. But of all the people I'd love to see winning this race, man, I'd love to see David Christie win it. He's a real point-to-point stalwart at home here in Ireland. He wins all the open races at the point of points and the Hunter Chases here. So, like, he was so close to winning last year with Winged Leader, and I'd love to see him win. But look, if he doesn't win, I'd like to
win. Brilliant. And he's got 3 absolutely fantastic chances. Fernslock, the new kid on the block. I mean,
I don't think he'll travel, Matt. I think he's going to keep him at home for the Irish Hunters Chases. He thinks he's a little bit too inexperienced. But I'd say maybe Vorselay and Winged Leader could go. Like Billaway, with the new stick rules, I'm not so sure. Billaway, he won last year, but Patrick got a few days on the back of it for the whip. So will the new whip rules maybe come into play here? He needs a lot of coaxing along and that. So can he go back and do it on the back of that? I'm not sure. I think Winged Leader is possibly the one.
Anything else? I know Gordon obviously likes the Martin Pipe race. He likes to farm that Coral Cup. He usually has an entry or two. Is there anything else that you think you've been seeing or may just stand out at this present moment in time?
No, there's not really in the handicaps that I'm jumping up and down. I think Imagine maybe in the Martin Pipe, you know, he's a kind of a graded horse coming back into a handicap, so he'd have to have a chance. Horse I really like in the Ultima is a horse of Martin Brazel's called Fast or Slow. Been following this horse, and he could be one that might just run very well at a big price in the Ultima.
Betfred, at the heart of it.